I am the Night Queen. I am the Night. Hello again. Welcome back, my ravens, viewers, friends and enemies. It would seem that Neece Lonewolf has seen my video and has made several responses to it. I will confess that I have no desire to go through everything she has said or done about me, because a lot of her rantings are thrown at a random person, who she has accused me of being. According to Neece Lonewolf, I am Randolph Vance on a soccer account. Someone in his Discord server has apparently claimed responsibility for my channel. I have tried explaining to her that this is not the case, but she can't seem to read, and the words, "I am not Randolph Vance," always go completely over her head. Randolph Vance is a figure who I knew of under a different name and have little to no interest in. For now. Anyway, I will be diving into Neece Lonewolf's made ramblings and will respond to anything pertinent.
Only boomers use text-to-speech?
I am unfamiliar with these baby boomers, who use text-to-speech. Most users of text-to-speech that I am familiar with are children and are often people who are not wishing to put out the voice. In my case, I like to keep my identity a complete mystery. I give out as little as possible for people to speculate over. In this case, it has resulted in 17 minutes of crazy ramblings. In truth, I don't disclose my identity or use my voice because I am very protective of my privacy. Take that or don't, that's my reason.
And say that cringy shit.
Whilst I do not take offense to my intro being labeled as cringy, I would like to ask what word better fits you, Neece. Your "I don't give a fuck" attitude, which is betrayed by your rantings and screeching, like a mad banshee. You are in your mid-40s but behave like a 14-year-old teenage girl on social media. You also called me a boomer when you use a Bitstrips avatar. Your hypocrisy is one of many reasons that you are considered a lolco by most. If you think my aesthetic and phrases are cringy, then it isn't me that you have a problem with, but my predecessor, who came up with them. Her next point is that people hate Randolph Vance more than they hate her.
This psychopath is hated. People fucking despise you.
Debatable. Randolph has developed a poor reputation for himself, it is true, but he has followers and people liked his content at some point. The same cannot be said for you. Neece, in earnest, I have not met a single person who does not look down on you. You are horrid, rancid and have a tendency to needlessly bully people and then pedal backwards when called out and cry about mental health. You have even done something similar to me, as we will see in a bit. This is as far into my video as she manages to get before ranting for 8 or so minutes about Randolph Vance. Like I said, this is irrelevant to me. So I'm going to just pick out bits of information that I think are worth addressing.
I don't know how many times I have to say to you that I don't give a fuck if you don't like me.
There it is. I don't give a fuck if you don't like me, but I'm going to make minutes of videos about you and write essays in your comments section. You clearly do care about other people's opinions of you, because you always feel a need to say that and then come back time and time again. Do you know what I do when I don't care about something? I don't really speak about it or address it, usually because that's the natural reaction to me not caring about something.
If you weren't such a narcissistic cunt, Randolph, you would actually try to get the girl some help like I'm trying to do.
Apparently, Neece Lonewolf is trying to help Mary. She helps her by sending her emails of a threatening nature that Adonis Paul himself condemned on his show. I can only imagine what psychosis was on display in those emails. If you want to help Mary in any way, you'd genuinely apologize and leave her alone. Another thing that Neece keeps accusing me of is simping for Adrasdia. Because, apparently, in her Razorhead-like world, people who dislike her automatically like Adrasdia. I have no love for either of you, but I'd say that she is preferable to you. She doesn't seem to start anywhere near as many of her internet beefs as you do, and just seems to escalate ones started with her, for the most part. You, on the other hand, go from comments section to comments section, looking for people to abuse. Adrasdia also seems like a more fun person to be around, offline. Whereas you don't even seem like the kind of person who exists offline.
And you're saying to Harley, oh, you sound like Neece Lonewolf. What? She sounds like a bitch? To be real, you get in Harley's face, she is a bitch. She has every right to be a bitch if you get in her face.
This point, I cannot help but love because it proves my video right in so many ways. Harley, who is mentioned here, is Hatman's girlfriend. For now. Anyway, she seems very complimentary of Harley in this video, despite the fact that Harley has called her out for harassing people in comment sections, just like I did. We all know that Harley is too dangerous for Neece to attack. If she attacks Harley, she attacks Hatman. If she attacks Hatman, she'll be facing someone who is actually capable of giving her a verbal beatdown. Even now, she is afraid of me, because she thinks that I'm Randolph Vance. I just hope that she never learns to read and realizes that Randolph Vance is merely a pile of fish compared to me. But regardless, Harley has a low opinion on you. Most women do.
What, because I stood up to you and I won't be your fucking friend, all of a sudden you become... Oh, wait, who's this sound like? Does this sound like the pedo? And the unmedicated schizophrenic? Who, when you stand up to them, lose their fucking shit just like you're doing?
Another amusingly hypocritical comment. Tell me, Neece, does that look anything like the comments that you left under Megby's videos and the schizophrenic ranting that was put out in response to people who gave Adrasdia advice?
Because as much as you call me a psychopath, Randolph, I wouldn't fucking go to this length to get someone's attention.
I do not know how she can say this without those words expanding in her throat and choking the life out of her for being so dishonest, but I'm sure that a fair few people from over the years can attest that she would go to greater lengths than I have to get her to watch my video. Those lengths being, leaving 2 comments in 2 places. Even if I was Randolph, you'd still be further over the lunatic fringe.
Call me a psychopath? Oh man, you've made a lady sock account using text-to-speech. Get some self-awareness, you dickhead.
This is not a sock account, and creating a persona with text-to-speech isn't on the level of harassing the mentally ill and trying to gaslight an entire group of friends to turn on someone, because you diagnose one of them to be a psychopath. Thankfully, but your attacks on Justin and his friends didn't work out the way that you did, but you tried to get that man ostracized from his friends because he disagreed with you. You are not the hero of any story but your own. She made another video, a few days later, in response to a comment that I made, in response to her comment. This one is a little more pertinent to me, though only slightly. She begins by saying that she hasn't been able to sleep properly.
Randolph, I haven't been able to sleep properly.
Maybe, if you didn't do so many horrendous actions, on a near-daily basis, you wouldn't be so haunted at night.
Your obsession with me makes me feel sick. Absolutely sick.
Your obsession with several people made me sick, which is why I made my video on you. Bear in mind that I have made 1 video and 3 comments towards this woman. She says that Randolph is obsessed with her, but one of my ravens is in his Discord server and Neece's name doesn't come up that often. They did a search and looked around and her name was only mentioned 3 to 5 times.
You old bastard. Making women feel sick because you are obsessed with them isn't something you should be aspiring to at 50 years old. Now
she is insisting that this is an attack on her, because she is a woman. Just come out and say these men, in a whiny voice already, and get it over with. Honestly, you and Adrasdia are alike. I do not know how you can claim moral superiority over her. You are both colored-haired, screeching, oversharing, site spamming, virtue signaling, lying, dangerous, psychotic, unemployed, unemployable, projecting middle-aged man-children. I am actually amazed that you are not friends.
Let's show more proof that this is you.
I am eager to have it proven to me as to why I am a man, that I insist that I am not. Were I Randolph Vance, pulling some sort of prank, do you not think that I would have given up the game by now? If I were Randolph, I would probably do an entire stream on you. If his information was as good as mine and he had the Raven network that I've established, he could get 3 hours out of you a week for the next few years. I suppose Hatman or Adonis Paul will have to do it before he'll be interested in the idea though.
You have never spoken to an Adrasdi simp in your life, have you? Not ever.
No, I have not. I do not care to, unless I was planning on recruiting one as a Raven.
Trying to pretend that you're an Adrasdi simp, even though you've made a text-to-speech video calling her a dead horse.
You see, this is where your theory that I am pretending to be an Adrasdi simp should have fallen apart, and you should have realized that you were wrong. I called her a dead horse because multiple streaming shows have covered her for years, to the point that she is now boring. She does the same things, over and over again, on loop, endlessly, and it has gotten to the point that covering her is more likely to lose your viewers than gain them. I personally had interest in the saga at some point but stopped paying attention some time ago. I had a Raven, keeping an eye on her, but they got bored and took up something else.
I bet you're not going to use this account to tell her that you called her a dead horse, are you?
I did not call her a dead horse. I called the subject of Adrasdia a dead horse. I do not care if she hears that or not. I have harsher words for her, but most of them have already been said. Hence why she is a dead horse, that people like you will not stop beating.
None of them have the level of education to use the word indignation.
I somehow doubt that you have extensively researched the subject of levels of education of Adrasdia supporters, but given your psychotic dedication to some people, it is very possible. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you haven't. Therefore, it is in the realms of possibility. However, indignation is not that highbrow of a word, but I will take it as a compliment that you think so. I have heard people of little to no education use more complex words that are more obscure.
And you say here that I have comments off on every platform I own. Again, this is where you give away that it's you, Randolph. No, I don't. My 2 Twitter accounts where you are blocked don't. You know that for a fact. And the reason you got blocked was because I kept telling you to stop spamming my mentions on both accounts, and you refused, so I blocked you. My Minds doesn't. My Gab doesn't. And I have 3 Facebook accounts I can be contacted on. Oh wait, no, they're all on private because of people like you.
So, you do not have comments off on 2 platforms that I do not use and have no intentions of using, because they are a toxic soup. Twitter is toxic and Gab is Twitter's racist pedophile uncle. I have no intentions of using those sites. If you do not care what people think of you, why are your comments disabled on your YouTube, BitChute? This apparently gives away my identity, as Randolph Vance is the only person in existence who can see that Neece Lonewolf is too terrified of the world to turn her comments on most platforms. Why do you need so many accounts? It is another red flag of someone who is not on the up and up, when they have 500 accounts, all doing the same thing, to evade bans and blocks and other consequences. It is the kind of thing that Dark Ninja, Andrew Velasco, Ronnie Vane and Andrew K do to stalk and harass people.
If you're going to pretend to be an addressee simp, don't sound educated. Go to Neece's Facebook and see if she's ever used the word indignation. Go to Facebook. See if he's ever used the word indignation. Go to John's YouTube channel and see if he's ever used the word indignation. Look at Mary's Facebook and see if any of her simps on there have ever used the word indignation.
Nice name dropping of a random person there, Neece. This is a moot point. Indignation is not a word that is often used in everyday vocabulary. I only use it because my channel has a theme and a dramatic flair.
You need to go to a psych ward, Randolph. Going to this level because you're obsessed with someone to get their fucking attention is psychotic and sick. You fucking sick bastard.
Randolph Vance is another person that Neece has armchair diagnosed and sent to a psyche ward. I am glad that she is just a benefit-sponging bum, who sits at home all day and not a real mental health professional, or this could have resulted in a lot of innocent people having their lives ruined.
I have never had a conversation with you for you to have this fucking level of obsession. You sick, fucking creepy old bastard.
Neither did Megby Rigby or any of those other people who you decided to abuse. Neither did Justin. A video, a comment or a mere passing mention was all the justification you needed to go full with your vitriol at them. You didn't even need that in some cases. Neece then goes on to false flag me, like Mary would. She is flagging me for harassment, after I said 2 things to her and made 1 video. I am glad that this is visible to the public now. I'm confused though, who would I be harassing if it isn't you and is someone else? These videos are between the 2 of us, making this even more of a false flag.
Fuck off would be made to. Because you should not be on social media. You are a narcissistic, psychotic, creepy old bastard. Need to get off social media and get a fucking life. Fuck off with your obsession over me, you sick fuck.
I suppose this concludes Neece Lonewolf's rants on me. Neece, you are bad at your deductions to the point that it is embarrassing. Rather than use your ears or eyes to fill you with information before making one, you start working your mouth and fingers, and this is what happens. You make a complete fool of yourself, ranting at a man who doesn't even know that this is happening. Neece, you got my attention through your vile behavior. I do not care what you like or dislike about me, only that you listen to what I have to say and process it. The Night Queen has spoken and the night has just begun.